All of those options that I just mentioned cannot discriminate against a student because of their religion, because of how much money their parents make, because they're not the right cultural fit, because of their past behavior. I mean, all of those things are going to be new in this system. And so to try to use parental choice or parental freedom as a guise for this program, I think is an insult to the people who have done hard work on this committee to empower parents with more options and more choices. We just walked through how this bill could require that the private school accept students who get an ESA, who get a voucher under this program. We could do that, but we're not doing that. We are allowing the private school to have the ultimate power in this equation. And so I resent the effort to use parents as a shield for this push for privatization. I want to ask about low income, because again, what I'm trying to do is align this bill with the rhetoric, right? There's lots of rhetoric about how we want to help parents, we want to help low income kids, and I do a lot of bipartisan work on this committee. I always try to take everyone at their word about what they're trying to do, and so what I'm seeing is a disconnect between that rhetoric and what the bill actually says. Is there an income cap? If this bill is for low income kids, is there a cap on income? Is there a limit to what kind of families can access this program, can access these taxpayer funds?
Any family is eligible to apply, but it is prioritized based upon learning needs and then family income.
Okay.
But there's not a cap.
So let's talk about that, because this prioritization sounds good when you first hear it. I think when you start to read the fine print, read the terms and conditions, what I'm worried about is that the money is going to cascade to the top, that students who we say we are prioritizing actually can't get admitted, because we just said you have to be admitted to get the money. They may not have a private school in their area. As you know, Chairman, a majority of counties in the state of Texas don't have a single private school in them, a lot of our rural communities and small towns. Or the private school doesn't provide transportation or special education programs, and so there's no meeting the student's needs at the private school. Or the voucher doesn't cover the full cost of tuition. So if you gave my former students on the west side of San Antonio a $10,000 voucher, there's still no way they could afford a $20,000 a year private school. So for any of those reasons, whether it's admission denied, there's no private school in your area, they don't provide transportation or special ed, or you can't cover the difference between the voucher, I'm worried that who we're saying is prioritized is actually not going to get enrolled, is actually not going to get the money. And so what will end up happening is we're going to run through, this has happened in every other state that's tried this, we're going to run through priority 1, priority 2, even priority 3, and the majority of the users of this voucher program will be priority 4, which are people that are a lot wealthier than most families in Texas and who already have their kids in private school. This is what we've seen in every state that's tried this. I looked for a state where a majority of the users were low income or weren't already in private school, couldn't find a state. So couldn't we in this bill cap the income, meaning millionaires and billionaires cannot take advantage of this program? We could do that, right, as a legislature?
We can do whatever we want to do, but the reality is you need a universal program that gives access, that's prioritized in a way that meets the needs of the most vulnerable. If you look across different states, in Arizona, for instance, 58% of the families in the program earn less than $80,000. I mean, it's just fact, and I think the data is not as clear as you make it. In other words, there are, in state after state, parents that are not wealthy are accessing these programs and making decisions on behalf of their kids to take them where to put them in the school they feel like is best for their kids.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not doubting that there are some folks who can take access to this program. I'm asking about the majority of users of the program. And you just said we have to prioritize and give access to low-income kids, but in the same breath you said we can't stop millionaires and billionaires from participating. So if this is for low-income kids, why don't we do that? Why don't we cap the income to make sure that it's not wealthier families who take advantage of this like in other states. I don't understand why we wouldn't just put that in the
Yeah.
bill
Well,
if
the
that's our
bill-
true intention.
Well, the bill is prioritized based on income. And, you know, the reality is that you will see parents exercising their right to act on behalf of their kids. And really, you know, and I'm not, I don't really, I'm not making an accusation, but you know, the inference that simply because you're not wealthy, that you can't access these programs, or you're not up, you know, that somehow lower income families won't do this, is just not true. You know, I mean, lower income families will apply and do apply all over the country and access these programs to provide what's best for their kids. And so it's, you know, I mean, look at that. I mean, income, in reality, it is mixed all over through all our different school systems. You know, we have school systems, public schools that are very, very wealthy, and some that are others. And the fact is that, you know, there will always be rich people that go to public schools. And I would argue that there are more millionaire, billionaire kids going to public school than there ever will be in private school through this. Because I know the private schools in my district, I know the kids that go there, and many families are struggling and foregoing vacations, college savings, savings for retirement, to do things to make sure their kids in the best environment.
So this is, I think, gets to a key point. Are kids who are already in private school eligible for this program?
Yes.
So if all the rhetoric around this bill is helping kids who are in struggling public schools go to elite private schools, because that sounds great.
It's not my rhetoric.
So, well, maybe not be your rhetoric,
No,
but it's the people
my
pushing this
rhetoric
bill.
is helping families provide the best option for their kids. And I just view kids as kids.
So, Mr. Chairman, if those who are pushing this bill outside this chamber are using kids in public schools as the justification for the bill, why don't we prioritize or give preference to kids who are currently in public school over kids who are currently in private school?
Because I think that parents will make that decision.